Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CRZ 1.5 GT. You can see here this one's finished with the really sought after dynamic pack with these optional upgraded alloy wheels from Honda. I think by far this is the best colour combination and spec combination of all. The white works absolutely brilliant on the GTs because they've got the black panoramic roof and these little black inserts for the dynamic pack and the grille, but also these alloys just make the car look absolutely fantastic. It's in lovely condition, this car, done 83,000 miles. Front of the car, lights and lenses completely clear and intact, hardly any stone chipping of any note there at all. Bonnet itself, again, very clean indeed. Microscope out, you'll find something, I'm sure, but far better than you'd expect for the miles of the car. Coming down the near side, very smooth on the panels, no obvious indentations there at all. Inside front wing again, very clean, as is the front alloy, which is in lovely condition, just the tiniest and lightest of curbing on the right on the outside edge. Panels down this side again, very clean, look very original too. Inside rear alloy, again, very clean and tidy. Lovely angle for the CRZs. It's subtle but very effective little spoiler on the back in terms of styling. Parking sensors all around on the car, all work absolutely perfectly, by the way. And then around the back again, very clean and tidy. Offside of the vehicle, as with the near side, very smooth in the panels. Offside rear alloy, can't see any marks on there at all. The remaining panel works absolutely beautiful. Final alloy on the offside, again absolutely fantastic for the age and mileage of the car. So looking at the car, which is just absolutely stunning, it really is, and it's in lovely condition. It's not to say, as I always say, there will be the odd mark on the car which I try and pick up on, but occasionally something will be missed, so please do bear that in mind. Coming into the boot area, they really have got very big boots in the car. They are two-seat cars, but they're four-seat cars, but effectively think of them as a two-seater. Reason being, that's the leg room you get at the back. So basically zero. Just basically drop the rear seats down and just use the rear seats. Rear seats as extra cargo space, in my personal opinion. Passenger door card, all very clean and tidy, even little recesses. Lovely, good set of original CRZ mats in very nice condition as well. Front passenger seat, it's in excellent condition. Driver's door card, again, kept very nicely. All the switches and recesses again, all very clean. Driver's seat in very good condition. Just on the outside edge, you can see just where people get in and out. You do get that rubbing on these CRZs, but that's completely in keeping with the age and mileage of the car, and far better than most of this age and mileage, I would say. So stand inside the car now. Engine's running through this section, so you can see dashboard illuminated, all working exactly as it should as well. Sat nav, you can see there. That's been kept really nicely in here. This absolutely fantastic dashboard. That's the view you get as a driver. It's absolutely, it's just fantastic to look at and to use day in, day out, in all honesty. Like a big pan in there for you. You can see that 83,911 miles, and there are no warning lights on this vehicle at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key is here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CRZ, and it's the 1.5 GT model. Car's registered FP60LNW, and mileage at the start of the road test is 83,904 miles. The reason we do these videos is basically so if you're looking at this car online in an advert, hopefully the video will pop up. And it gives us an opportunity to show you that very car you're seeing advertised actually in operation. Loads of our customers now travel vast distances to come and see us, so the least we can do is go to the time and effort to do this for you. And it's also done on the same quiet country roads very close to our premises, so I hope would be representative of what you feel yourself if offered a test drive in the car. We know just how frustrating it can be to travel for hours to go and see something described as being in good condition and drives well, only to find out it's got a fundamental problem with it, which you clearly should have been told about before setting off. So hence that's why we do it. This particular car, obviously, as you know from the advert, it's been a very well maintained car. It feels like it. We've just serviced it. It's going to go through an independent MOT later today as well, but it drives absolutely beautifully. The car itself, the engine starts absolutely instantly. You just press the button, off she goes. Let's put it here a second. Oh, it's going to let me go. And it's just such a lovely setup because, you know, it is obviously a hybrid system, but you just feel like you're driving a normal car. There's very little to differentiate between this and, you know, just a normally aspirated engine, and that's it. And it's where Honda do this very cleverly, a bit like Toyota. Their hybrid systems are so beautifully integrated and engineered, as Toyota are now lauding, obviously, the fact that they are self-charging. There's no plug-in on these at all. It does it all for you, and it goes between engine and hybrid, you know, itself, and you just don't feel it. It's absolutely seamless. Having said that, you know, the essence of this is all about fun, the CRZ, and the engine is absolutely brilliant. It's just a lovely, lovely unit. Very much kind of an old school Honda engine, and that's a good thing, by the way, because the engine makes a lovely noise when it's revved up. It's got a really nice intake growl to it. You know, you put your foot down and it wants to rev. You know, that's the thing. It's not, you know, put your foot down now, and it's just a lovely growly engine, and it suits the character of the car absolutely perfectly. Again, you know, for those who don't know, but I'm sure you already do, the car offers three different modes for the engine. You've got the economy, normal, and sport. The engine always, when you start the car, always defaults to normal mode. So it's kind of halfway house between the two other settings. Economy, if you press it, maximises the fuel economy of the car, softens the throttle response. When I had my very first one, as I always said in these videos, you know, I tried to achieve every single last mile gallon I could get out of the car, and actually didn't really enjoy the car that much, because I'd spent my whole time doing it. When I bought my second one, I did what I recommend everybody does: just press the sport button, and it immediately changes the throttle response. The steering weights up, and it becomes the car it really is. It's just so much more dynamic. When you're in the sport mode, you've got this little red hue goes around the speedo there as well, just to remind you where you are in a sportier mode as well. But it just transforms the feel of the vehicle. And what you lose in economy, you know, you're more than gain in sort of driver enjoyment, and it's kind of the immediacy of, you know, the throttle response, and say that weighting of the steering as well. So it's a setting I'd always recommend people go into, unless you really are someone who wants to chase MPGs. But so I tried that, and it drove me absolutely bananas. Worth pointing out, no warning lights at all on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Engine then feeds through clutch into gearbox. Clutch on the car is absolutely perfect. Bike point is exactly where it should be, and it's smooth and silent in operation. Gearbox in the car, 6-speed gearbox, and I've said many times before, and I'll continue to say it, I think this is one of Honda's very finest gearboxes, and probably one of the finest gearboxes you'll ever experience in driving a car. It feels like it's rear wheel drive, and it feels like the gear lever is going straight down into a gearbox, not a cable going to the front, because it's so short and throw, so easy to use, but it's got a mechanical feel to it. You know, it is an absolute class act. It's one of the, you know, it's a gearbox that you want to change gear, rather than some gearboxes where they can be recalcitrant and vague or sloppy. But this thing, when you're pushing on, it just wants to find its way home every time. You can't get lost in the gearbox at all. It's absolutely superb. And I can't feel anywhere in the linkage at all, by the way. Steering of the car, track's absolutely dead straight, so I can't help but think go around a corner when I'm doing that. But track's dead straight, trust me. There's no steering wheel wobble at all at any speed up to legal limit. And it all feels really tight and taut in hand as well. It's also beautifully matched to the chassis. It's, again, Honda got this car so right, they really did. The steering is just, as I said, it's got the beautiful weighting, it's confidence inspiring. So at speeds it doesn't get that awful nervousness that some chassis can give you and steering can give you. It just works with the car absolutely beautifully. The chassis itself, again, working in harmony with the steering. You wouldn't believe it handles as well as it does because it rides very, very comfortably indeed. It's very controlled, beautifully damped, rides sort of the ridges and the sharper ridges extremely well, and yet at the limit it's precise, it's agile, it's chuckable. And as I said previous videos, that I liken this to kind of an 80s or 90s hot hatch. It's got that real sort of chuckability. You can throw it into corners, and it's just it's not one dimensional. It doesn't plough on and understeer. There's more to the chassis than that. It's got a real adjustability to it, and I've been lucky enough to drive a few of these on race tracks as well, so I know what they're like absolutely at the limit. Brakes on the car, absolutely brilliant, by the way. Just give them a shove there, but the pedals are nice and strong. There's someone behind me, so I don't want to scare them to death. But there's no vibrations or pulsing from the brake pedal, and it pulls the car down nice and straight as well. Looking around inside the car, these are beautifully made cars. This is 80,000 miles, and it's in lovely condition in here. Dashboard is just a work of art, it really is. And what I love about this car is it is very, very Japanese in its approach, and that won't appeal to everybody. And I think that's a really good thing. I've always said that I think that good styling or interesting styling shouldn't appeal to everybody, and this clearly doesn't, but I think it's just fantastic. Sat-nav, obviously, because it's the upgraded model with the sat-nav system, all working perfectly. Air conditioning, absolutely ice cold in here. You've got these little pods either side, which is very symmetrical, very reminiscent actually of the S2000 in that way, ergonomically certainly, and how it all operates. But the quality of the switch gear is absolutely brilliant, beautifully damped, very high quality indeed. Dash then directly in front of me, quite futuristic in its design and layout and illumination, but actually works brilliantly well. Big digital speedo slap bang in the middle, the information you want to see most of all, of course. And then around the outside of that runs the rev counter, which, as I said, will go different colours with different settings on there. And then you've got other information as well. You can see what the hybrid system's doing, all that kind of stuff. But every switch, every gauge, every function on the car works exactly as it should. Cruise control there, hands-free's been checked. All the radio controls all working absolutely as intended. As I said at the start of the video, brief as it is, it's just a video just to show it's in operation. I'm massively biased with these cars. I make no apologies for that at all. I absolutely adore them. This is going to be a future classic because Honda's marketing of the car when it was new was rubbish as always. So they didn't get the message across quite as they should. Its limiting factor, of course, it is effectively a two-seater. You've got 4 seats, but the rear seats are absolutely useless. Think of it as a 2-seater sports car with a huge boot when you drop the seats down, and if that fits what you want, then that's great. And again, that obviously limited its popularity because but some people needed more practicality than that. But if you just want a really fun 2-seater sports car that is bulletproof reliable, as Hondas always are, then it's a fabulous car to drive and own, and I've had enough to have experienced that. Any questions about the car, as always, don't hesitate, please do give us a call.